morning, everybody. Madam Vice President, our CEO Maureen, and the person who does an awful lot of work for this, Helene, and the bowling committee. You're all, and sorry, the lady from Fleshman Hill, very good. You're all very welcome here today. Peter is now going to do, he's going to explain the rules of the bowls and the draw. Okay, over to you.
Thank you very much, Meg. Good morning and welcome to the draw for the Active Retirement Ireland National Bowling Competition here in Winds Hotel, and through the magic of the internet, available for all the Active Retirement Associations to see for the first time ever. We're going to do the draw for the small bowls competition first, followed by the large bowls competition. The small bowls competition will consist of 6 groups of 4 teams. As in previous years, no 2 teams from the same local group can be placed in the same tournament group. So if that happens, we will move them to the next available slot. And thankfully we have the help of the Bowls Committee to keep us on track with that one. In the large bowls, it will be 32 teams in 8 groups of 4. And again, likewise, no 2 teams from the same local active retirement group can be placed in the same tournament group. So if everybody's ready, we'll proceed and we'll draw the first team, and May is going to do the honours and draw the first team out of the hat for the Active Retirement Ireland Small Bowls Competition 2014. And the first team out of the pot is the team from Gorey, skip Phil Byrne. So they go into Group A in position number 1. Gorey, Phil Byrne. Joining them in Group A is the team from Wicklow Town, skipped by Eamon Murray. So that's Wicklow Town, go into Group A in position 2, A2, Wicklow Town. Joining them is the team from Portlaoise Active Retirement, skipped by Patrick McAvoy. So that is Portlaoise Active Retirement in Group A in position number 3, so A3 is Portlaoise Active Retirement. And the last team to go into Group A is St. Paul's. St. Paul's, debutants in this year's competition from Waterford City. Their team is skipped by Jim O'Sullivan, and we wish them all the best of luck in their first ever competition. They've recently taken part in the Southeastern Region Bowls competitions with great success, really enjoyed themselves. So St. Paul's Men's Active Retirement Group will go into the last position in Group A. So to recap, Group A is Gorey, Wicklow, Portlaoise and St. Paul's of Waterford City. That's Group A. There are no problems with Group A, gentlemen, ladies?
There's just one question. Is there any of those 4 teams that have been drawn, have they got a second team in the competition?
None of those teams have a second team in the competition.
That's fine, yeah. Yeah, because otherwise, if they had 2 teams, they could pick which group they wanted to go into.
Okay.
Swap their
Yeah.
around.
I'll show you what I've done.
Yeah.
Anybody
No,
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, that's grand. Yeah. Oh, that's grand. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Great. Okay, so we'll move on and draw the teams from Group B.
Okay.
The first team out is
In case anyone thinks I'm cheating.
the first team out in Group B is Cashel District A.
Oh.
So that's the team from Cashel District, skipped by Maura Purcell. So they will go into Group B, position 1. So that's one of 2 teams from Cashel District A. If one of the next 3 teams out of the pot is from Cashel District, they will be moved into the next available spot. So Group B, the first team, Cashel District A.
There you go.
Thank you very much, mate. And they're joined by the team skipped by Annette O'Connor, the Bala Blazers A, from the Bala in County Wexford. Again, joining us for their 3rd tournament on the spin. Great active retirement group down there in the Bala. Annette O'Connor skipping that team. So the Bala Blazers, and they go into Group B in the 2nd position. So Group B, Team 3. This is all running far too smoothly now. You have to hit a hiccup at some stage. And this is the Tullow Active Retirement team skipped by Colin Boyle. So it's Tullow Active Retirement B. So the Tullow Active Retirement B team will go into Group B with those teams. B3. And the final team to Group B. Thank you, mate.
This is probably the hiccup.
It isn't, it's absolutely fine, but we do create a local derby as drawn in the same group as Tullow. We have Loughlin Bridge number 2, skipped by Irene Kavanagh.
Down the road.
These groups tend to throw up a local derby or two, and it's great to have that old rivalry between Loughlin Bridge and Tullow coming back to the fore here. So that's Loughlin Bridge 2 going to Group B, Team 4. So to recap, Group B currently stands as Cashel District A, Bala Blazers A, Tullow RM B, and then Loughlin Bridge 2. So that's our 4 teams from Group B done. We'll move on to Group C.
Should be a bottle of champagne in there.
There isn't even any ice. We
And
can
ice.
stretch to the ice.
Somebody might throw it over me. Oh, no.
There'll be no ice bucket challenges when the water charges come in anyway.
No.
So the first team out in Group C is New Ross. So New Ross from County Wexford, skipped by Claire Delaney. So they go into Group C, position number 1. Joining them in Group C, thank you very much, mate, is Abbey Leaks Active Retirement Team number 3. Abbey Leaks number 3, or Abbey Leaks C on your list. That's the team skipped by Willie Murphy. So they go into Group C in the 2nd position. Willie Murphy's Abbey Leaks team.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And the next team to take position 3 in Group C. Tournament debutants, Maishal.
My
Pronunciation is absolutely terrible.
No,
Maishal.
Maishal.
In the County Carlow, am I
Yes,
right? Yeah.
correct.
So Maishal in County Carlow, Team B, skipped by Margaret Whelan. So Margaret Whelan's Maishal team from the County Carlow making their tournament debuts. They go into Group C in the 3rd position. So C3, Maishal Team B. And C number 4, from the town of Tullow, Nave Porrick Active Retirement Team B, skipped by Paddy Doyle. So another derby thrown up, another Carlow derby thrown up, and New Ross, of course, not very far from Tullow either, so a lot of local rivalries. Nave Porrick Team B, skipped by Paddy Doyle, go into Group C, Team 4. So there's still no issues so far. Now bear in mind, some of these teams may have to change, some of these groups may have to change if we draw teams from the same active retirement group in later groups, but that's no problem, we're all ready to do that. So we'll move on to Group D, the 4th group of 6. Thank you. So this is the 3rd Tullow team, to be filled later on, skipped later to be decided. So they will go into Group D in position number 1. No, it's the 3rd team to skip to be advised later. So they go into Group D. Joining them in Group D is Avoca B. That's the B team from Avoca, County Wicklow, skipped by Liam Dowling. They go into Group D, number 2. Joining them in Group D, thank you very much, mate. It's Abbey Leaks Active Retirement number 1. So Abbey Leaks team number 1, skipped by Yvonne Porter. So they go into Group D in the 3rd position, D3. And the last team out of the pot for Group D, Loughlin Bridge number 1, skipped by Mary MacDonald. So another Tullow Loughlin Bridge derby in that group. Fantastic rivalry between 2 very successful groups. So that's Loughlin Bridge, their A team, or team number 1, skipped by Mary MacDonald, going into D4. So without further ado, we'll move on to Group E. Very few left now. There may need to be a few changes as there are still a couple of active retirement groups with 2 teams left. But starting us off is Victor Carlin's Maishal team, Maishal A from County Carlow, and they go into Group E in the 1st position. So Group E opens up with Maishal A, and joining them is Avoca A, the John Moores skipped team. Semi-finalists in their first ever year of competition. They've yet to repeat that feat. Avoca A go into Group E, the second position, joining tournament debutants Michael. In the third position to join them is the second team from Abbey Leaks. That's Abbey Leaks Active Retirement Team number 2, skipped by Joe Anderson. So Joe Anderson's Abbey Leaks team goes into Group E in the third position. And last but not least, into Group E is Naomh Pádraig A, skipped by Michael Shea. So from the town of Tullow, Naomh Pádraig A team, they go into E, Group E in the fourth position. So there are only 4 teams remaining in the draw. They are Cashelan District B, Tullow A, Avoca C and Bray. There will be no problems with that. None of them are from the same group, so we can go ahead and draw the final. Draw the final one. Made lucky hands. There we go. So we'll draw them in order to decide the order in which they'll play. So the first team in the final group, Group F, will be Tullow Active Retirement. So Tullow Active Retirement A, skipped by Pat O'Callaghan, will go into Group F in the first position, F1. The second team in Group F, joining them, other tournament debutants, it's Betty Butler's Bree Active Retirement team from the county of Wexford. Bree Active Retirement making their tournament bows, and they go into the final group, Group F, in the second position. Third team in Group F, it's either Avoca or Cashel. I'll be taking odds.
Make bets.
Yeah. It's Cashelan District B, skipped by Bridget Whelan. So Bridget's Cashel and District Team B, they go into the final group in the third position, F3. Now, it's just a technicality, but we need to make sure that the whole draw isn't invalid, and it is the Avoca C team skipped by Boris Ivanov. So Boris Ivanov's Avoca Team C will take up the final position in Group F.
Well done.
So to recap really quickly, Group A was Gorey, Wicklow Town, Portlaoise and St Paul's. Group B was Cashelan District, the Ballablazers A, Tullow B and Loughlin Bridge number 2. Group C was New Ross, Abbey Leaks 3, Michael B and Naomh Pádraig B. Group D was Tullow 3, Avoca B, Abbey Leaks number 1 and Loughlin Bridge number 1. Group E was Michael Team A, Avoca A, Abbey Leaks number 2 and Naomh Pádraig A. And the final group, Group F, was Tullow A, Bree Active Retirement, Cashelan District Team B and Avoca C. That concludes the draw for the small bowls. I'm going to get rid of these, they have to move these out of the way now. Just take me a second. Just move them away. Give them a take around there.
Let's hope it's as smooth as the last one.
Let's hope so. You take this one, I'll get a piece straight.
She might do that. Oh, she's
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we'll go to the draw for the large bowls competition of the Active Retirement National Bowling Competition 2014. The large bowls was won last year by Kilcurry Bowls, who are back to defend their title from Faherty in the County Louth. It will be 8 groups of 4 teams. There are 32 competitors again in this. The demand was absolutely sky high. Helene did great work getting the teams interested and involved, and we even had to turn away some teams. So this is by far the most popular competition.
Well done, Helene.
Yeah. So without further ado, we'll start it off. Again, I'll remind you that no 2 teams from the same Active Retirement can be drawn in the one group. So, Group A, team number 1, from Nadine in the County Kerry, from beautiful Kinmare, it's the Nadine Dolphins, skipped by Sue Harris. So the Nadine Dolphins go into Group A in position 1. Joining them are the Fossa Eagles, again from the County Kerry, So we're going to throw up a lot of derbies in this draw. Great interest in the southwest of the country. So the Fossa Eagles will join the Nadine Dolphins. The third team, now in this instance we've drawn the Nadine Seals, skipped by Aidan McKay. They can't go into the same group as the Nadine Dolphins. They'll automatically be moved to Group B, position number 1. So the first team in Group B will be the Nadine Seals, skipped by Aidan McKay. And we'll now redraw for the third team in Group A. It's just like FIFA, just a little less corrupt. From Duleek and Bellewstown, possibly the best, one of the best names in it anyway, skipped by Tom Finnegan, it's the Lazy Four. The Lazy Four from Duleek and Bellewstown go into Group A in the third position. And we'll draw for the last team in Group A.
Hope it's not the busy 4 now.
It's Cooley C, Cooley Team C,
Whoa.
skipped by Bernard O'Rourke.
That's very
So
interesting.
they go in there.
That's not
Very
very.
interesting.
So Duleek and Bellewstown versus Cooley, local derby from the northeast, and then a Kerry derby as well. Now we've already drawn the Nadine Seals in B1, so we draw for the second position in Group B. That's me, and it's the Killarney team, skipped by Susan Walsh. So that's Killarney, skipped by Susan Walsh. They go into Team B in this, or Group B, in the second position. B2 Killarney. B3 is the Beaufort Elves,
Oh my God.
skipped by Donny Clifford. And again, we're going to see a lot of local derbies there, with Beaufort and Killarney as close as they come.
Could we not get somebody from Mayo?
I think Kerry and Mayo had their day out, and Dublin I don't think want to play again.
I don't think we want to.
So the Beaufort Elves, skipped by Tony Clifford, go into Group B in the third position. So that's the Beaufort Elves, B3. Now we're drawing the final team in Group B, and it's Killorglin C, skipped by Michael O'Sullivan. Killorglin
Kerry
C,
derby.
skipped by Michael O'Sullivan.
Wow.
B4. So that's an all Kerry group of Nadine Seals, Killarney, Beaufort Elves, and Killorglin Team
That would be
C.
very interesting.
That'll be the group of death, as they say in the World Cup. That'll be keenly contested. We'll draw now for the first team in Group C. And the first team in Group C are champions of a couple of years ago when we played in Brafey House in Castlebar. Skipped by James Carroll, it's Cooley A. It's the Cooley A team, champions 2 years ago, and very keen to get their hands back on that trophy. So they go into Group C in the first position. Joining them, it is Dunshaughlin B, skipped by Pat Naughton. So Pat Naughton's Dunshaughlin B team will take on their northeastern rivals, Cooley A. So they go into Group C in the second position. Third team in Group C, also from the northeast region, it's the Active Virginians, skipped by Michael Connell.
Wow.
So far we've Louth, Meath and Cavan contesting
Cavan.
Group C. So the Active Virginians go in there, C3. And the last team to join them, keeping up the Kerry representation in all of the groups, Killorglin A, skipped by James Murphy. So 3 northeastern teams and then Killorglin A. So Killorglin A go into the fourth position in Group C. On to Group D.
There you go.
Thank you very much, mate. From Nadine, it's the Nadine Gannets. The Nadine Gannets,
Lovely.
skipped by Maeve Arnold. Some beautiful team names coming to the fore now. Some of the teams opting to name themselves after local cultural and landmarks and climatological phenomena. Some of them naming themselves after animals, like the Nadine Gannets there. And then one of my favourites, of course, is the Beaufort teams have named themselves after mythological creatures. So
Lord of the Rings.
that's it, absolutely.
Very good.
So keeping up our Kerry representation, it's the Fossa Sikas. The Fossa Sikas.
What's a Sika?
The Sika is a winter animal, very beautiful creature indeed. I don't know if it's native to County Kerry. We'll have to Google that later on. But skipped by Barbara McDonald, the Fossa Sikas will go into that second position in Group
Lovely.
D. D2, Fossa Sikas. Thank you very much indeed. So for team number 3, it's the East Meath Tides, skipped by Jerry Roach. So Jerry Roach's East Meath Tides will go into Group D in the 3rd position. D3, East Meath Tides.
There's no C in Meath.
In East Meath there certainly is. Julianstown,
I
Bennystown.
know, but not there.
One of the nicest beaches. Consistent blue
Excuse
flag
me.
winners.
The nicest beaches in the country are in Wicklow.
Anyway, regardless of what your preference for beaches is, the next group out of the pot, also from Duleek and Bellewstown, with another great name, skipped by Mary Culhan. It's the Four Chancers.
Oh, I love it.
So
That's
the Four
brilliant.
Chancers are out of the pot, and so are the Lazy Four before them. So they go into D4.
Okay.
Okay, on to Group E.
E.
Group E, Team 1 will be Navan A, Navan's A team. Navan joining us in the competition for the first time. Great to see such a large active retirement association represented, and represented today by 3 teams. They go into Group E in the 1st position. Second team out for Group E. Now in this instance, we've drawn Navan C. So they'll be moved automatically to the next free spot, which is Group F, Team 1.
That's 2 hiccups.
So Group F, Team 1 for Navan C. Now we can get the hiccups out of the way if this is also Navan. So let's have a look, May.
Hopefully.
It's not
No.
from the County Kerry, it's the Beaufort Hobbits, skipped by Mary
the
and Grant,
Hobbits,
the Beaufort
yeah.
Hobbits. So they will be playing in Group E in the 2nd position. Beaufort Hobbits E2, Mary Grant's Beaufort team there. The 3rd team to join them, skipped by Kevin Barr, it's the Cooley B team.
Oh.
So we have Navan, Beaufort and Cooley so
Very
far in Group E. So E3 becomes the Cooley B. And rounding off that group, skipped by Joan O'Grady, it's the East Meath Waves. So the East Meath Waves will become the final team in Group E. So Group E now has Navan, Navan A, the Beaufort Hobbits, the Cooley B team, and the East Meath Waves. Now on to Group F, and we have already drawn Navan C in the 1st team. So Kathleen Marr's Navan C team are the 1st team in Group F. We're drawing the 2nd team, and we've created another local derby as it's Luke Colleran's Dunshaughlin A team. So Kathleen Marr's Navan team will face off against Dunshaughlin A, skipped by Luke Colleran in a Meath derby. They go into Group F in the 2nd position. F2, Dunshaughlin A. The 3rd team in Group F will be the KCK Active Retirement, and they are skipped by Pat Murphy. So we're staying in the in Group F. We'll add the KCK to Group F in the 3rd position, and then rounding off that group is Mallow Active Retirement, skipped by Maura Murphy. So Mallow Active Retirement, Cork's 1st representation in our draw so far today, and they'll go into Group F in the 4th position. There's no issues with that group. It's Navan, Dunshaughlin, the KCK and Mallow. So moving on then to Group G. And the 1st team in Group G, another Cork team, they're coming out now thick and fast. It's Dennis Mulcahy's Middleton A team. So they'll move into Group G. Dennis Mulcahy's Middleton A. And Middleton A will go into Group G in the 1st position. Joining them, or not joining them as the case may be, as it's Malcolm Taylor's Middleton C team. They'll move into the next possible position, which is Group H, position 1. So H1 becomes Malcolm Taylor, is Middleton C team. So H1. So we'll go back to Group G, and the team to join Middleton A will be the East Meath Junes, skipped by John Flynn. So it's Middleton A and the East Meath Junes in Group G. So Junes skipped by John Flynn, become G2. Team G3. Oh, it's alright, I have the paper, I just lost the kinder egg. Jerry Murphy's Killorglin B team. Thank you, mate. Killorglin B skipped by Jerry Murphy. They go into Group G in the 3rd position. G3. Much. Rounding off that group, unfortunately in this instance we've drawn again a Middleton B team. Now in this instance we have no further groups to draw, so we'll have to go back to the last team drawn before a Middleton team was drawn. What we will do is we'll take Mallow Active Retirement, skipped by Maura Murphy, and place them in G4. And Middleton B become the 4th team in Group F. So, Maura Murphy's Mallow team are now the 4th team in Group G, and in order to avoid playing against their own clubmates, Malcolm Rogers' Middleton B team become the 4th team in Group F. So to round out the final group, Group H, we already have Middleton C, skipped by Malcolm Taylor. They'll be joined in that group by Navan B, skipped by Phil Duffy. So Navan B will go into Group H in the 2nd position. Also in Group H, second last one out, and it is the defending champions from Faherty, County Louth, Kilcurry Bowls, skipped by Pat Cunningham. So Kilcurry will go into Group H in the 3rd position. And finally, just to confirm that this is indeed the Beaufort She-Oaks. So the Beaufort She-Oaks, skipped by Margaret Sweeney, will go into Group H in the 4th position. So that concludes that draw. To recap very briefly, Group A will be the Nedine Dolphins, the Fossa Eagles, the Lazy Four from Duleek and Bellewstown, and Cooley Team C. Group B will be the Nedine Seals, Killarney, the Beaufort Elves, and Killorglin Team C. Group C will be Cooley A, Dunshaughlin B, the Active Virginians, and Killorglin A. Group D will be the Nedine Gannets, the Fossa Seekers, the Eastmeath Tides, and from Duleek and Bellewstown, the Four Chancers. Group E will be Navan A, the Beaufort Hobbits, Cooley B, and the Eastmeath Waves. Group F will be Navan C, Dunshaughlin A, the KCK Active Retirement, and Middleton Team B. Group G will be Middleton Team A, the Eastmeath Dunes, Killorglin Team B, and Mallow Active Retirement. And last but not least, Group H will be Middleton C, Navan B, our defending champions Kilcurry Bowls, and the Beaufort She-Oaks. There are no issues with that draw. Our committee are fairly satisfied with it. That concludes today's events. Thank you very much.